If you remember the 80s movie, The Wilder Summer, then I bow down to you because you are a true 80s archaeologist. This movie is so random, but rewatching it gave me a really good excuse to bring you back to summer camp 1980 something and to cool things down by making some delicious bug juice treats. The Wilder Summer is about a young guy named Charlie Wilder who heads to summer camp in the early 80s, and amidst all the craziness of young campers and even crazier camp counselors, young Charlie finds love for the very first time. It's actually about a lot more than that, and we'll get way into this obscure movie a little bit later, but first, let's make some The Wilder Summer Popsicles, which are actually bug juice popsicles. I am using these really cute bug popsicle molds from Tovolo. Each one is shaped like a little bug. I think this is a little beetle, maybe a ladybug or something like that. Super cute. And each one is about 4 ounces, holds about 4 ounces of liquid, so we'll make a 4-ounce popsicle. Obviously, you do not have to use these kinds of popsicle molds to make your own bug juice popsicles. Use whatever molds you want. Just know that the recipe that I post down below, you might have to flex a little bit to fill your molds, which actually is just fine because bug juice is really about what kind of juice do you have in the fridge, what kind of juice do your kids like, and then what kind of juice looks like bug guts. I have 3/4 of a cup of apple juice here, and then 3/4 of a cup of blueberry juice. Now, I'm using blueberry juice because I have a Trader Joe's right near close to me and I love blueberry juice, but you could totally substitute in just some grape juice for this. So if you were gonna make these popsicles straight up juice popsicles, you would now go ahead and add about 1/2 cup of pineapple juice. But these are Wilder Summer popsicles, so we're about to get a little wild. Next, we're gonna put crushed pineapple with the juice into the bottom of some of our molds. And I'd say I wanna do about 1/3 into each mold, which ends up being, let's see, is it gonna be 2 tablespoons? I'd say about 2.5, maybe 3 tablespoons in each of these molds. Just a teeny bit more. Can never decide. Nope, I don't want that. No, 2 tablespoons, that's plenty. 2 tablespoons, taking it out. Changing my mind. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of crushed pineapple in each of those molds. And then I'm just gonna add just a little splash of the juice mixture into each one, just to kind of get things floating around. And now I'm gonna add some fun stuff. So I've got some sliced up grapes here that I'm gonna put into each one. I've got some green grapes, and I do slice them up. I just think it's better than having a big old chunk of frozen grape if you put them in whole. Love those. And then I'm gonna actually put in some of these little sliced up blackberries too, because I think blackberries look like bugs. And that fits our theme, right? Okay, so now that we've put those in, I want more because I love the fruit in my popsicle. Okay, and then now what we're gonna do is gonna fill these up almost to the rim, because remember, we're gonna put toppers on them too. Gosh, I'm making a mess, aren't I? And then I'm gonna take a chopstick and I'm just gonna zhuzh everything around. So the blackberries are evenly distributed and the grapes are in there, and so is the pineapple, really nice. And the good thing about crushed pineapple is it won't they float. So nothing really sinks to the bottom, so you don't have a top heavy popsicle, which is really nice. Everything's kind of evenly in there and you get a little bite of blackberry, you get a little bite of grape. This is a really good healthy-ish recipe. I say healthy-ish because, you know, it's all got sugar in it, but it's sugar from, you know, the plants. Okay, and then we put our toppers on, and you might just want to do like a little swirl as you go down because there is like some fruit in there. Just do a little swirly swirl. See that? I love these. It clips on like that. And then these go into the freezer, I'd say, for about 4 to 6 hours. But of course, you're much safer if you do it overnight. And that way you can enjoy them the next day when it's super hot outside. Camp Minnewaca 1983, that is the backdrop for The Wilder Summer. And I gotta say, right out of the gate, this movie lets you know what's going on, because Charlie basically waves goodbye to his mom, and then within minutes, he meets a snooty upper crust blondie girl named Lydia, and he is spending the rest of the summer chasing this child down. This movie is really full of a lot of stereotypical caricatures, I should say. There's like a camp counselor who is more like a drill sergeant and treats the campers like they're in the army. There's a boy crazy girl named Janice who actually tries to get her meat hooks into Charlie. And I remember back being like a 10 or 11-year-old guy and being like, forget Lydia, go for Janice, she's awesome. And then there's Charlie's best friend who's always cracking weight jokes about himself. And he actually refers to himself at one point as Uncle Chubbs, which is really strange for a 12 or a 13-year-old boy. When I decided to do a little episode based on the Wilder summer, there were actually a couple food references from the movie that I could have gone with. There was a food fight, there was a camp picnic, Charlie talks about coleslaw at some point, and Chubbs, or the kid who calls himself Chubbs, is actually always pulling out treats throughout the movie. But summer camp, bug juice, they just go hand in hand, as far as I'm concerned. Now, speaking of that bug juice, when you're making your popsicles, it is inevitable that you're gonna have some leftover juice. And I'm talking about that mixture that we made with the apple juice and the blueberry juice. And I did wanna say, I was talking about the blueberry juice from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has a lot of cool and different kinds of juices, like this pomegranate juice here. You can obviously, like I said earlier, you can use any kind of juice you want. I just kind of go a little nuts when I see a type of juice that I haven't really seen before. So with this leftover juice, I thought it would be fun to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit and make a sparkling drink, or maybe a mocktail, or you could even make a cocktail. We're gonna go simple and we're gonna make a nice refreshing summer drink with the leftover juice here. It starts off with these ice cubes. All I did was pop a little grape into the little ice cube tray, fill it with water, and there you go. I just think it makes the things taste a little bit better, and it makes them stay colder a little bit longer when you do it like this, rather than just freezing the grape. Fill your glass. It's about half and half, I'd say. And what I'm gonna use is just a little bit of sparkling water, and this is lime. I prefer lemon lime, but this is what I got. And there you go. A nice, refreshing bug juice. Cheers. Oh, that is so delicious. I am happy with just the sparkling water, but feel free to add either some real champagne or maybe some other sparkling kind of ciders, maybe even a little wine or a wine cooler. Do whatever you want. Oh, so good. Oh, as delicious as this is not the star of the show. The star of the show are our popsicles, and I am getting really impatient. But this will tide me over for a little bit. This movie definitely has an after-school special kind of vibe, and the acting reminds you a lot of like a middle school play. Not great, but there are some notable actors who came out of this movie. Number one, J.D. Roth, who played Charlie, the lead character in The Wilder Summer. He went on to host a bunch of kids' game shows in the 80s and 90s. He was also a co-creator of The Biggest Loser, so that's kind of cool. The camp director was played by Ms. Hathaway from the Beverly Hillbillies, and the super creepy and paranoid camp cook was also the same guy who played Samantha's dad in 16 Candles. So the actress of most notable interest to me was the young woman who played Missy in The Wilder Summer. It's the same actress who played young Christina in Mommy Dearest, and she was a rock star in Mommy Dearest. The stuff that she was up against in that movie was unbelievable. So I'm kind of like to go from the big budget of Mommy Dearest and stars like Faye Dunaway to The Wilder Summer, where she basically had a very minor role. I kind of like, what the heck happened? So of course, rabbit hole of all rabbit holes, I Googled her. And the last thing I saw was her in an 80s music video. I think it was her with Steve Perry from Journey. You actually can see and learn way too much on the internet these days. So as you can probably tell outside of my window, it's a little stormy here at Camp Crunchy Scott, but that's okay because it's the perfect time to stay inside and make bug juice popsicles. Didn't they turn out super cute? I promise you. Oh, they're so good too. All that juice, it's just delicious. And it eats more like a fruit bar because we got all that pineapple in there and those blackberries and the grapes. I love it. Now, I do have another popsicle recipe on my channel. They're SpaceCamp popsicles. Those are delicious too. Please check those out. And I do have another camp-related recipe. It's a very different recipe and a very different movie. They're my Sleepaway Camp beans and weenies. But today, this is all about the Wilder summer. This movie is about summer camp, mishaps, misunderstandings, and a very innocent love story. And tube socks. It's about the tube socks, which are amazing. Why don't tube socks ever come back? Anyways, make these bug juice popsicles and enjoy the summer. Check out the rest of my videos on my channel, and I'll see you next time. Gotta go put on my tube socks.